couple of grafts I did last year. I probably should have removed the polythene earlier. Just slitting that carefully with a very sharp knife, trying not to cut too deep. Ideally you should remove the polythene so probably July, having done this earlier in the year. It's always difficult to avoid cutting the wood, so just try and be careful and avoid doing it. If you tie this up very tight and then you don't release it when you should, it can kill the graft. I should have done this again earlier. You can see, I think you can believe me there when I say that this is an example of a saddle graft that's taken okay. You can see with the point of the knife just down there's a V shape. Okay, that's the pointy bit, and it's gone into here, and this has yielded. That's healed beautifully. On the other side you can see there's a little flap there of signed wood, and you can see the same, this sort of V shape. I like the symmetry of the saddle graft, and I like the very good contact, a very large area of contact, and you can see as you whip around this and you're holding it, you're pressing it firmly together. Okay, here's another one, which again, like I say, should have been done last year, should have been released last year. No denial here, we don't do everything as well as we should do. You can see that's cut in a little bit there. Can you see it's a little bit tight, it's compressed there, where that's been tied around quite tightly, it's dug in a bit. Now that's not really ideal, that sort of hourglass shape there. That'll come alright, that'll come clean. What some people do, and there's a lot to be said for it, I think what they do commercially is they use a rubber band to do the tying with, and the rubber bands rot. You see, they gradually deteriorate, so they fall off by themselves. Okay, now you can see again the V shape there of the saddle graft. You can see that, and you also see where it's the tape is dug in where it was a bit too tight. However, you can also see that it's grown away very nicely, and again that's the between my finger and thumb there, that's the pencil that I put in, and you can see it's got some buds on it and some growth that came away, and it's actually got, so even though I grafted it last year, it's actually got fruit bud on it. It actually formed fruit bud last year, so it grew away and formed fruit bud in 1 year, which is a good sign. That does happen sometimes, although it's not strictly supposed to. So we'll actually have some fruit on this in the first full year after grafting. So there you go. And here's a couple of stab grafts. I'll show you these. These are a bit fiddly. I don't strongly recommend these, but sometimes they're the only solution. You can see here there's a sort of oblong piece of, well, basically what I've done is, I'm not going to show you here, but I've made a cut sort of like that, slipped back, taken a piece of wood, signed wood, sharpened it in much the same way as I would for a wedge graft, shoved it in, and then press this back firmly. In some of the old books it suggests you nail this down, but I couldn't quite bring myself to do it. I tied it down. You can see it's come away nicely, and here's another one, another sort of stab graft. And this is really more or less your only option if you've got a big bare piece of wood and you don't want to cut the whole thing across. You want to insert a sign, let it grow away, then the stab graft. I haven't actually shown that done. I'm not going to this year either, but I might do. That's the stab graft, as I call it. And that's clearly worked quite well because those trees have grown away, they're alive and they've got blossom on them. Okay.